With Jokic and the 2023 Nuggets about to make history on verge of winning their first ever title, the franchise has had plenty of struggles last couple seasons with the heavy ACL injury for Jamal Murray, an 18-month recovery process, an underrated comeback story, looking like his bubble self and better, earning his praises as one of the best playoff performers of this generation, the perfect second option with an unlimited bag, elite shot creator, something that was missing without him the previous two postseasons. And despite the two-time MVP putting up unbelievable numbers, the 2021 and 22 playoff runs, the losses doesn't come without massive criticism. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. The false narrative on why Jokic shouldn't win MVP due to his lack of playoff success, an absolute travesty of a statement. The weak and uninformed mainstream media had no choice but to give the best player in the world and the best team right now props after Murray's best series of 32.5 point average, 50-40-90 against LeBron and Davis, being the leading scorer with 3 all-time great talents. Many already forgotten some of the starters Jokic had to play alongside with and how the team's still able to stay afloat without their second option Murray and third option Michael Porter Jr. missed all but 9 games throughout the 2022 season. The 48-34 Nuggets ended up the 6th seed, with Jokic deservingly winning his second MVP, numbers of 27, 14, and 8, 1.5 steals, a block on over 58% shooting. His starters for the most part, Aaron Gordon the only other one who still starts, the second best player all of last season, and 35-year-old Jeff Green at the 3, a bench guy the last 7 seasons and nearly out the NBA several times, off the bench for 8 different teams before forced to be in the lineup, who hasn't started since the 2015 season, way back to his Boston and Memphis days. A guy on 5 straight years of vet minimum contracts before the Nuggets finally gave him a 2-year deal. Green would have came off the bench for every other team, leading all hands on deck, 15 full seasons played. Green in year 14, the 5th most games started in a single year, while 6'2" guard Will Barton, many forgotten what team he's even on now, signed for 2 years $30 million after just 3 games played. 2021 playoffs, was included alongside another Nugget starter, Monte Morris, in the KCP package, one of the most underrated trades in franchise history. Both Barton and Morris went from having big downfalls without Jokic after having their best years playing alongside Joker. Barton went from 14.7 points in 71 starts, 32 minutes to just 6.8 points, 39% shooting from the field, under 18 minutes played, off the bench, no identity with the Wizards, only to get waived, then picked up by the Raptors, limited playing time, now age 32, looking like he might be out the NBA. Forced to being the number 2 offensive option most nights, to being not even wanted by a bad team, and a name not even mentioned by contenders, no interest in signing him, disliked by many Nuggets fans, many relieved when Tim Connolly decided to trade him, viewed as a ball stopper and taking shots away from Jokic, a useful player with a limited roster but not a good fit on a title contender. It's no accident the team went all the way to the conference finals and played incredible ball in the bubble without Barton's presence, having knee soreness, consider low beat-ball IQ, bad shot selection, relies on quickness getting to the rim, and often took way too many bad shots, not even considered that great of an outside shooter. All his years with Jokic went from a 54.3 true shooting percentage down to just 45% without him. Wizards fans don't even have to watch any of Jokic's games to understand how much better he made Barton look. Getting rid of Barton, adding KCP and Bruce Brown, literally night and day. Those guys fit perfectly within the offense, takes more high percentage shots, plays defense, allows the team to drive, leading to this season's version of unselfish, unstoppable ball, one of the reasons why Jokic considered the best floor and ceiling riser in the game. Monte Morris from 12.6 points, 4.4 assists, with Jokic looking like a solid point in Murray's absence, but 62 games with Washington, just mediocre, 10-5. Similar numbers to a below average starting one. At the end of the day, it was only Monte traded for KCP, under contract till 2024. The soon-to-be 28-year-old doesn't move the needle starting on the team without a top 25 player, would be one of the better backups, the type of player whose impact skills with the level of talent around him won't all of a sudden average 20 plus on a bad team similar to Tyus Jones. Some actually thought Morris would become a 20.8 assist guy without Jokic, but laughably mistaken. Below average defender, super expendable, That's why the team decided to get the established championship experience KCP. Morris, just proven to be an okay player, will never get anywhere close to a max deal, likely in the range of 4 years, 60 mil. Frank Campazzo started 19 of 65 games just 2 seasons ago. In the postseason starting lineup 2021, the scrappy Argentinian made a name for himself, averaged 5.6 points, 3.5 assists in 20 minutes, both 21 and 22, before signing with Dallas. Just 8 more NBA games played and waived when the team elected to give Kemba Walker a chance. The 5'10 point guard went back overseas, signed with a Serbian team, forcing to play heavy minutes without Murray, put up 9.3 points, 4.1 assists, 1.4 steals in 27 minutes of play. Doesn't have a good jumper, became super unplayable, minus 209 plus minus, due to his strength being a passer. The worst type of guard to pair with Jokic, can't hit an outside shot to save his team, leading the second unit with the PJ Doziers, Sig Najis, and Bones Highland of the world. No wonder why the Nuggets had the worst bench last couple years. The worst advanced stats numbers, some even mention him being possibly the worst player in the NBA, but his energy and effort won't be forgotten. Austin Rivers, Mr. Journeyman, been in the league for a hot minute. After traded from the Knicks, originally picked up for a 10-day deal before needing him the remainder of the season. After Murray's injury, last 7 games to end the 21 regular season, put up 12.6 points, 28 minutes of play, even started 9 of 10 postseason affairs, a respectable run, 9.2 points, 41% from deep, depended upon to play 47 and 40 minutes last 2 games first round versus Portland, went on to average 6 a game, over 21 minutes, first round Golden State, lackluster 4.2 points a game, signed with Minnesota. Under 5-point average this past season, a bench warmer, his future after 2023 to be determined. Sadly, his Nuggets tenure might be most remembered for blowing the awful layup, wasting away an all-time great Jokic assist. Sometimes it's not about how great you are, but who you know and how you portray yourself as a teammate. This perspective from Rivers earns him the respect being a good teammate for Denver.
I was that guy in high school. I wanted to be an all-star. I still feel like I'm good enough to be that, but that's not my role here. You know what I mean? My role here is to be aggressive, and obviously I have big nights like tonight. I'm gonna have many more. I plan on having many more, but we got a MVP here, you know what I mean? And so you support that guy, and we got Michael who's upcoming, and you support that guy. So I go in there and I do my thing and I play hard, but whether I play or whatever platform I'm on, or if I'm in the game, not in the game, I'm nothing but positive energy, man. That's all I'm trying to bring to this team every game. Like I said, when you're not playing for 2 months and something's taken from you, it changed me, and I had to look in the mirror and say, okay, well, there's things I still have to change.
Gary Harris, still with the Orlando Magic, a shell of himself after a remarkable 2018 campaign, 17.5 points, 40% from deep, to laying an egg in the Lakers series, a brutal 4.2 points, 1.6 rebounds, 26% shooting, playing 23 minutes. Starting at the 2, his tenure in Orlando, 9.9 points, under 43% from the field, likely never get back to his 2018 self, the team being loaded at the guard spot already before Murray's injury and needing a Millsap replacement. Aaron Gordon the perfect fit, Harris super forgotten since. Bench shooting guard PJ Dozier spent 3 seasons at the Mile High, 6.7 points, 3 rebounds, 19 minutes, traded in the Bobo package, 16 games since with Sacramento, 1.4 points, deep on the bench, only age 26, his NBA future in question after the ACL tear 2 years ago, hasn't gotten back to his former self. Forgotten Denver Nuggets Bryn Forbes, only a few months with the roster, part of the 3-team trade, 35 games played, became one of the main bench options alongside Rivers, 8.6 points in 17 minutes after signing with Minnesota, waived after 25 games, 3.6 point average, also deep on the bench. The Timberwolves trying to pick up Denver's leftovers, only to have both Forbes and Rivers ride the bench more. Forbes shortly after, arrested for domestic assault, hasn't gotten an offer since. The 29-year-old, realistically, a big chance he might never play in the NBA again. The guy who once outscored Jimmy Butler in a playoff series, out the league not even 2 years later. Young NBA players out there, don't be like Bryn Forbes. While DeMarcus Cousins, off the bench, put up 10.6 points in the Golden State series, serviceable minutes but not picked up, years of bad antics really left a bad reputation. now playing in Puerto Rico, getting into a heated exchange with teammate Will Barton, a terrible impression for the rest of the league. Of course, JaMychal Green signed after being beat by Jokic in the bubble. 2 decent seasons, 7.2 points, 4.5 boards, 18 minutes off the bench, played a little in the playoffs. Similar production with Golden State, viewed as the Jeremy Grant replacement, became a bad outside shooter when moved to the 5, another one of the rotation guys who looks great with Jokic on the floor but lost without him. Jeremy Grant's numbers way higher after leaving the team in 2020, a true number 3 to 4 option who wants to be number 1. Empty stats on bad teams, doesn't move the needle playing with Dame Lillard's Blazers. His record since leaving Denver, a disgusting 54-110. Talk about absolute travesty of losses. Marcus Howard now overseas after being deep on the bench, now playing in Spain. Of course, Paul Millsap, already on verge of retirement in 2021, put up 9-5, decided to take his remaining talents to Brooklyn, thought he was gonna get a ring with that super team, ended up in the Ben Simmons trade. Last played with the Sixers. Devon Reed, career high 14 minutes for 2022, 4.4 points in 48 games, very deep on the bench in the Bones Highland trade. While Highland has been pretty much the same with the Clippers, Reed 8 games with the Lakers before getting waived, super forgotten now. The fact that Nikola Jokic averaged an incredible 30.2 points, over 12 rebounds, 5 assists on 53% shooting without Murray for both the 21 and 22 playoffs, and how the media is still blaming him for those losses when the rotational players he had now on different teams, either deep on the bench or out the league completely. All those guys getting rotation minutes, nowhere near as effective without him. There's no question why Jokic earned his back-to-back MVPs and arguably should have won a third before the extreme hating by the media came together trying to vote against him, elevating another player's status. Even I looked down on Jokic's 2021 MVP 2 years ago and made a disrespectful video on why it wasn't an impressive MVP before I truly understood Jokic's incredible impact on his team. That was totally wrong on my part. It's only a matter of time everybody will respect Jokic dominating, absolutely well earned both his MVPs, and honestly should have been unanimous in 2022, seeing how bad his supporting cast was. Truly a blessing watching consistent greatness on the daily basis and continuing to prove himself as the best player in the game, an absolute team player with lots of talks before Jokic these 2023 playoffs. Already a success, leading his team to the finals and likely winning it all. The man already made one conference finals with a healthy roster before winning any MVPs. Both seasons winning the award, his team severely compromised, and the way he's able to work with borderline NBA players goes to show Joker the best at making nothing out of something. Even 2017 Russell Westbrook had a better supporting cast than 2022 Jokic, with guard rotations such as Monte Morris, Will Barton, Austin Rivers, Frank Campazzo, and Bryn Forbes last year. No need to show all the terrible advanced metrics without even looking. That's by far the worst defensive guard rotation in the entire NBA. Even a prime LeBron James or Michael Jordan wouldn't get out the first round as a low seed with those guys playing heavy minutes. His body of work at 28 years old, an absolute testament to his abilities and what's expected going forward. Just going through the motions of every all-time great who's accomplished pretty much every individual award, MVPs, multiple first-team honors, just needing that elusive championship on their resume. Think back to how people view Michael Jordan before the 91 finals, how LeBron James was portrayed after 2011, or how Giannis was getting bashed after the 2020 bubble. A championship will cement Jokic status as an all-time great and one of the faces of the league in the 2020s decade. For those still doubting his greatness, the Serbian sensation will continue shocking the entire nation.